Thank you very much, Siddiq, for the very warm introduction. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to you. I'm Cassandra Cheng, employability trainer with E2I. And thank you once again to Northeast CDC for collaborating with E2I to bring about valuable content to the audience here. Well, today I have with me Jacani, Principal Career Coach from E2I. Jacani, please introduce yourself to the lovely audience we have here.
Thank you, Cassandra and Northeast CDC. So I'm Jacani. I'm currently a coach mentor with E2I. I usually work with clients from a variety of backgrounds and across different industries, supporting them in their transitions and equipping them with employability skills.
Thank you, Jer, for your introduction. And we look forward to hearing more from you later. Well, this is our third session in Career GPS. And before we start the session proper, Jer, I just want to check in with the audience how they're feeling right now. So how is everybody this sunny afternoon? If you're feeling great, could you please help me type in the chat 888? And I mean 888 as in literally the number 8. Okay, wow, thank you, Sally. Thank you, May. Oh, fabulous. Thanks, Email. Typing, wow, everybody's feeling very good. And you may wonder why I asked you to type 8, right? Because it's not just auspicious, it's because it really rhymes with great. All right. Okay, thank you, everybody. Okay, I have another question for you. If you're first time with us at session 3, could you help me type 1, please? First time. Okay, so your first time here, 1. Okay, thank you very much. All right. Nice to have you back, rather nice to have you with us for the first time. This is our session 3. We have another session, the last and final one, session 4. Please remember to sign up for it as well. Okay, but if you're back with us, all right, for the third time, please help me to type a 3 there. All right, so for example, I'm definitely here for the third time. Okay, that's me. Anybody here for the third time? Okay, thank you, Sally. All right, wow, if not, okay, I think it's TXR. Yes, I remember you. Hi. Okay, thank you, Grace. All right. Okay, so nice to know the profile audience that we have here. Welcome. All right, and thank you very much for using your lunchtime to join us in this learning journey. Okay, so now that we're warmed up, right, we can jump into this topic that we have here that's posted on the screen as well. How do mature workers stay relevant in this disruptive economy? Well, oftentimes, right, mature workers wish to contribute to the society by remaining in the workforce. Well, as a career coach, what do you think staying relevant means to you?
Well, thanks, Cass. So to us, I think staying relevant essentially means knowing what the latest skills are required and keeping up with the latest industrial trend. So knowing is one part, and of course the other is translating it to actionable, something actionable for the job so that you'll be part of a quality workforce, right? So every organizations will definitely be looking out for employees who are able to continuously contribute in a positive manner, and therefore, with the knowledge, experience, and skills that you have over the years, you'll be able to contribute to the organization's bottom line. And to drive this point across, actually what I did was also to share an example here, which is an administrative role. So 10 years ago, right, the role would probably be maybe more mundane with just data entry and maybe filing of documents. But today, however, the skills required to perform this role of an administrator is more sophisticated. So if you actually take a look at your screens right now, you'll be able to see the job description of a role of a administrator, right? A brief scan, and you will see that it's a tad more complex today. And the role itself demands much more. But one thing is, if we were to add on value to this role, really, it is perhaps having someone who has the skills of RPA, right? It will probably enhance the value of this person doing this administrative role. But have you heard of RPA? So I guess we could give a thumbs up, to participants who are actually listening in right now. If you have, do give us a thumbs up if you have heard of RPA.
Okay, so we have got some reaction. All right. 6 people so far. If you're looking for the thumbs up, if you're not sure where it is, it's under the reactions tab. or button. So just click on it and then look for the thumbs up so that you can help Jacani understand whether you have heard of RPA before. Okay.
Saw some thumbs up. Okay, excellent. Yeah. All right. So RPA essentially is the robotic automation process. It's a very easy way to build and deploy. It's highly programmable, and it's meant to emulate actions to automate processes such as data entry or any predictive after-sales support, for example. So anyone out there who has learned these skills, potentially it puts you in the forefront, right? Because employers today require and demand people with such skills.
Thanks, Jacani. Well, we have a couple who have typed in the chat that they have not heard of RPA. No fret, right? So RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. You can do a quick Google after that. Well, now that we know what RPA can do, Jacani, I'm sure there are also other skills out there that we can pick up to help ourselves remain relevant. But I just want to be very realistic. Are there some challenges that mature workers would face when we talk about acquiring new skills?
Good question there. So really in our line of work, right, we have had opportunities to engage both the HRs, the hiring managers, right, as well as job seekers. So I see two sides to the coin, and I would like to share that today. All right. So for our mature workers, of course, there is a social stigma, you know, at times being known as too expensive or being overly qualified. Right, and working individuals themselves find it difficult to identify how can they continue to be part of this chain of success, this value chain, right? How do they see the value they may have for a particular role, and how can they measure it? On the other hand, companies also need to be able to determine what is the value of this person that they're going to hire. And there are also real instances, right, where individuals cannot blend into the fast-paced, changing work environment. And the challenge here is moving individuals out of their comfort zone of the know-how to be recalibrated and reintegrated into the workforce to complement business needs.
Well, I really like the idea of what you said just now, recalibration, and that's really important because I had a chance to speak to a job seeker. Her name is Sarah Tan. So she's a mature worker. She told me about the story of how she lost her job and then what she did to get back to the workforce. Well, we wish to have her with us live, but she's working today, so we aren't able to have her here. Instead, we did a recorded interview of Sarah Tan, and I'd like to invite the audience to watch this recording and listen in as to what Sarah did to help herself. Thank you, team.
I'm Sarah Tan. I'm a designer by training. The kind of work I do is so interesting and I just love it so much, you know. Initially, I felt a bit lost, but then I kind of told myself that's not the end of my career. I'm sure I can do something about it. And so then I sat down and I said to myself, I'm not going to wait for something to fall on my lap. So I began my search. It wasn't easy, but I wanted to keep searching and make sure that there are no gaps in my career. I look out at the different digital channels like Instagram. I set up Telegram, and I've also got fast jobs, also watching the news and reading the papers, reading the reports that's been published about what's going on out there, as in the employment status. I picked up some new skills. I went online to search and I found the NTUC Learning Hub. And that was really a good start because I had the opportunity to sign up with introductory courses to the different industries and to get the feel of what it is like to be in the respective industries. But then still, I have to fill these gaps being more prepared in terms of digital skills. Yeah. Eventually, I had some short-term contracts. I was grateful and I accepted it to move forward. But then I also told myself that this could be a temporary basis. If I want something more on a regular basis, I have to do more research. I realized that there could be some new skills that I may have to look into and to fill these gaps in order to be able to secure a job. During this time when I was looking for an ideal job, some employers did say that I am a bit senior, but I will never give up. And I've never given up. To take the leap of faith and to get out of my comfort zone, which I've been for many years, I signed up for an online sharing session that was organized by E2I, and I approached the session with questions. Musicians. The sharing session got me thinking as to whether I need a career coach. I found this new role in a different industry. It is not about design. Humbled and grateful to work with this group of people who are so capable and passionate about what they do to make a difference to the lives of Singaporeans. My family was really my main support. They gave me the greatest support. I really very blessed with this. And they have always told me that the support is there. So it's very important to me and to anybody who is in my situation. Consider the 3 Ps. Being positive, persistence, persevere. So to all job seekers, just move on. Don't give up and you'll be there.
Thank you, team. Really like the advice given by Sarah there, the 3 Ps. Well, Jer, one thing what Sarah said, right? She said she made an appointment to meet an E2I coach and she received the help that she needed. Just want to check with you, what are some of the immediate benefits that one may reap from speaking with a coach?
Right. So to actually meet with a coach, essentially it helps to facilitate the transition in the job search journey. So working with a coach, you have coaching conversations where it increases your awareness, insights on labor market, on the employment landscape. Individuals can be more equipped with job search resources. They can have resume tips as well as mock interviews in terms to assist them in their interviews, right? So definitely working with a coach would you receive the support you need every step of the way.
Thanks for sharing. And I think we also noted that Sarah really had an excellent attitude, right? The fact that she even went all the way out to search for courses and skills, and she constantly thought through what she should do to get back into the workforce. Yes, and certainly, Vincent, I do agree with you. It is very encouraging to hear a success story like Sarah. Okay, so Joe, one more question for you. Now, we mentioned about resources and learning and all that. Where can mature workers look to find resources to help them stay relevant?
Well, upgrading of skills is essential, especially in our employment landscape today. Yeah. So lifelong learning is important, but yet taking ownership of this learning definitely is crucial, right? So we don't want to wait for people to tell us what to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's important here is you should be doing something that's relevant as well, that it is of significance that you can add on to your employability skills toolbox, right? So if I were to ask, what are the latest skills today, right? What will your answer be? So what I did was I prepared a slide to share with the audience here today on the top skills of 2025. I took this from the World Economic Forum. So if we can have the slide, you will actually see the top 10 skills in 2025.
And I think I'll be ready to whip up my camera, my phone now, all right, to take a picture of this so that I can browse through it at my own time. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Sure, back to you.
So this is definitely, this is what you see. So if you like to, take a screenshot, that's what you could do. Essentially, taking ownership is crucial, right? Because you gain more insights. And how do you gain more insights? Is really through industrial associations. It could be through events, LinkedIn learning groups, community of practice, Institute of Higher Learning's training providers, right? Today, learning is made so much easier with stackable modules, bite-sized learning, all readily available both virtually and face-to-face. I urge everyone to take up something that's relatable and relevant. Take time to research, plan for both. When you plan, take into consideration the time and money as well, right? So my advice really for individuals today is that opportunities don't come to us that easily. So we also need to be actively looking out for opportunities.
Thanks very much, Kenny, for your advice there. And I think we all take away with this note here to take ownership of our learning. And once we pick up all those skills already, we want to remember to update our resume, have the skills at the topmost front page of our resume. Okay, now, Kenny, thank you so much for your insightful sharing. We'll have you with us still. All right, just we invite you to stay online for us to bring you back during the Q&A. All right. Okay. Okay, you did prepare something else, if I'm not wrong, Kenny. There is a quiz for the audience. Almost left that out.
Yes. But before the quiz, perhaps
yes.
I could also just add on just one more point, which I just want to share with everyone is for everyone out there, do keep up with the active lifestyle, keep abreast of the latest skills, and of course, take up courses for skills upgrading, and even consider taking up voluntary work, right? Do things that you're passionate about. And because change is the only constant as of right now, so learning to navigate and adapt is definitely crucial for everyone. Right? So it is important to keep up with the energy, enthusiasm for work that you do, and be flexible to changes because it increases one's adaptability and agility to the changes. Be a mentor to someone, to build up those skills. And of course, always, find a way to position yourself to potentially value add to the organizations as well. Right? And of course, with that, we could have to quiz.
Bring up the quiz. Okay, sure. Let's have the quiz now. So could we have your you take out your phones now, or if you're using a laptop, please go to the browser and type in menti.com. I'm so excited to go to the quiz actually, Kenny. Okay, so this is the code, yeah, 15226986. All right, so are there prizes, Je?
Yes, I think there are. The team will advise after that.
Yeah, definitely. So
top fingers first, I think, though.
Yeah, and fastest reader as well. So not just fingers, make sure your eyes are really fast because it's a very, very short quiz with 5 questions. All right, so could we bring on the browser so that we see how many have participated already? Okay, before we leave this screen, let me do a screenshot here. There's Nemo, Dream, and Felicia. Thank you. Just let me take note of that. Nemo first, and followed by Dream and Felicia. Thank you, team. What I did not do just now, before I told you I was very excited, right, to do the quiz. What I didn't tell you to do is to use your actual name when joining the quiz, but that's fine. Could we have Nemo to say hi to us? Could you unmute yourself and say hi so we know who you are?
Hi, this is Shirley here.
Hello, Shirley Tan, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, my team will be in touch with you soon. Thank you, Shirley, and
Thank
congratulations. And Dream, we had a Dream, second prize. Could you unmute yourself and say hi? Don't be shy. You were good. You were very fast. If not, I'll move on to number 3. Okay, well, Dream, we've got you there. You can't unmute yourself, no worries. Team, please take note. She has sent us a message in the chat. And then we have Felicia, number 3. Felicia?
Hi.
Hi, Felicia Cole. Thank you very much for responding. Okay, and now with this, Joe, anything to say before we wrap up your segment?
Thank you everyone for participating. I think it's good that everyone actually got it right, so I'm quite happy.
They were all paying attention. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jokani. Please stay online with us. All right. We'll come back to you during question and answer. Okay. All right. Oh, for the rest of us, today we're very privileged to have with us an employer, all right, from SATS, and he's here to join us for this session. So his name is Jeremy. Right, Jeremy heads the talent acquisition and resource planning function in SATS. In this role, he oversees all the recruiting as well as sourcing strategies. He creates durable talent pipelines and managing partnerships with stakeholders to identify and hire the right talent to drive strategic and operational goals for the organization. Jeremy, I see you here. All right, thank you very much for coming on board with us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, well, Jeremy, we have prepared 3 questions for you. We have heard your role in the company. The first question would be, what is SAT's view of hiring mature workers?
Okay, so maybe I can start with sharing a bit about SATS. I mean, you may or may not have heard about us. So, I mean, SATS is Asia's leading provider of food solutions and gateway services. You know, we are in over 55 locations in 13 countries across the Asia Pacific, the UK, the Middle East. We have 80% market share in Changi. So for all our participants, you know, when you travel or when you eventually travel again, we will provide our services to you. And throughout the pandemic, you know, we continue to fulfill our purpose of feeding and connecting communities by safeguarding, ensuring the viability of our nation's supply chains, safe movements of cargo, of passengers, food supplies, and all that. So what we've also done during the decline in the aviation volumes in the past year is to accelerate our growth into new segments, whether in the cargo business, the e-commerce business, and especially in the non-aviation food business. So I think my point here is that we have a diversified business that continues to diversify, and we remain resilient, and we are hiring to support our expansion. Now, maybe I move to something else. All of you may or may not have heard of the Great Resignation. I move a bit into the employment landscape. So the Great Resignation it's an informal name for, it's a trend of a significant number of workers leaving their jobs during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is a worldwide phenomenon. Now in Singapore, a few months back, the Straits Times reported that there were 163 job openings for every 100 who were unemployed. So this means is that the ratio of jobs to job seekers is 1.63. And this ratio has climbed above 1, you know, for the first time, I think, since March 2019. So what does this mean for everyone? Whether you're a mature worker, as long as you're a job seeker, and I truly believe that metaphor, I mean, they always say that strike while the iron is hot. The iron is hottest now. Companies are hiring, and there are resources out there to help match job seekers to jobs at a scale that I think is quite unprecedented in recent memory. I mean, you have heard from Jokani and Cassandra on the good work that E2I has been doing and will continue to do, and SATS has been working very, very closely with E2I. Yes. So So to answer your question is that the short answer is that we fully support hiring mature workers, especially to maintain and enhance our Singaporean core. Now, I also want to share a bit about the demographics of our workforce. So for SETS, we have a workforce that is almost 10,000 strong. We have a workforce that I think is quite balanced. Approximately 45% of our workforce is under 40, which also means that 55% is above 40 and above. And when I look at the demographics about who we've hired in the past 2 years, the amazing thing about data is that the data corresponds with this, because in the past 2 years, who we've hired, about between 55% to 60% of our new hires are also 40 and above. So I think first off, I can say with certainty that we fully support the hiring of mature workers. And my next point is that we're also very glad that now, with even greater support from E2I and external agencies, there's all this support to equip mid-career entrants, maybe like yourselves, with new skills. And you have also heard the importance of reskilling and upskilling and with new skills. So many of you are probably aware with the SG United program. So we work with multiple partners under this umbrella to bring in new staff. Since we've started this earlier this year, we have already brought in, I think, 18 candidates under these schemes. And I thought maybe I could perhaps also share 2 examples. So the first example is we have Mr. Hamdan. So he has just joined us under the SG United Mid-Career Pathways program. Now, he has more than 20 years of working experience across different functions such as e-commerce, operations, processes, account management across various industries as well. So he wanted to embark on a new journey in aviation, and I'm happy to say that he's joined us in our cargo business. The second person that I wanted to highlight is we have a Miss Vanisri. So she started her career more than 20 years ago as well. She also had a variety of roles in operations, customer service, and even HR actually. So she took a career break. She wanted to rejoin the workforce. And what she did was take up a program offered by Microsoft and Generation Singapore, which is also under the Skills United, the SG United umbrella, that equips her with digital skills such as, which are incredibly in demand now, skills such as data analytics, business intelligence. So she has joined us in our technology team. And, I think this is another great example of, and now I reference what Jacqueline said, so a great example of the willingness to learn new technology and adapt yourselves to what companies want and need. SETS, and I'm sure all other companies out there as well, we are more than willing to accept mature workers, mid-career workers. But, to be frank, everyone has to do their part as well. So it's fine, it's totally fine if you don't have the specific skills for that particular role. But what hiring managers are looking for, what companies are looking for is that, number one, have you undergone, what is your hunger and your willingness and your attitude to learn? Have you gone through certain courses or training and all that? All these, the 2 examples that I referenced, they did show this, and therefore we are more than willing to give them a chance. So I hope that answers your question as well.
Thank you, Jeremy. I think that certainly very reassuring for the audience here. I think we have a kind of a big profile here that fall in the category of mature workers. I also like the idea that you brought up 2 examples of SG United students. All right, you mentioned Mr. Hamdan, and I took down notes as you were speaking, Miss Banishri, if I got the name correctly. That's very encouraging. And I also hear very strongly, Jeremy, what you mentioned, that it takes 2 to clap. Whilst employers are willing to hire, job seekers out there should also prove, that they have all the skills that they need in order to be employed. You picked up 2 pointers. I wrote down here data analytics as well as business intelligence. I'm quite sure these 2 skills definitely fall into the slide that you can pull up for the audience, right? So please take note, audience, all right? Look through the skills, and especially hearing from Jeremy himself, you would know that you have to upskill, all right? And we have been focusing this in session 1, session 2, and now session 3. Okay, Jeremy, we have the next question for you, if you're ready. What are some of the vacancies that are suitable for this profile, mature workers?
Okay, I think the short answer to this is that I think the sky is the limit. So I probably kind of answered this already, but go take a look at our careers page on our website. Then we are hiring for many roles with different seniorities across our businesses, across our diversified businesses, whether for corporate functions like finance, technology, procurement, or operational roles within our BUs, within our food solutions, our gateway businesses. So see what you want. But I think the more important point that I would probably make is that if you do see what you want, whether in terms of what I referenced earlier in terms of attaining several skills that companies look out for, and I think also an important thing is that you also need to, I mean, not just you, but all job seekers, your CV is very important. You need to sharpen your CV so that you will get noticed in the sea of CVs that hiring managers will receive. Yeah. So, Cassandra.
Okay, sure. Right. Actually, you're moving on to the next question that I prepared for you in terms of CV. So we use the term CV and resume interchangeably here. So when you talk about CVs, right, Jeremy, I'm sure you see a lot of CVs every day, all right, since you're in the HR field. What do you specifically look out for in the CVs, or even when you're interviewing a potential job seeker? Please give us your honest feedback.
Okay, so this is a good question, and actually it's a topic that is really close to my heart because as you pointed out, I do review CVs actively and almost on a daily basis. And there's so many CVs that I've seen that really could be improved. And I sometimes I just want to call them and say, and give advice, but and then I stop myself because it's totally unsolicited. So I'm glad to be able to share in this forum, this platform. So a couple of points. I think the most important is that the CV or the resume, I mean, interchangeable. The CV really needs to be short and sharp. So recruiters, hiring managers, they don't have the time to read a CV that's 11 pages. Even though you may have that breadth and that depth of experience, there is no CV that needs to be 11 pages. So what I say always is 2 at most, maybe 3 pages at most. Yeah, so you also need to sharpen your CV because there is also no point in, so assuming that you are in a finance function, you've been an accountant for 30 years with 7 different companies. So what I've seen is that what the person has done, those few pointers is essentially replicated 7 times. Yeah, so I don't need to see that. So what I need to, so I kind of know you're an accountant, what you do, but I need to see what your achievements have been. Mm-hmm. That's more important. Yeah, and also I think cover letters are actually when I come across a cover letter, that is tailored to the job that is being applied for, I am always very impressed. But on the flip side, I can also tell when the cover letter is a generic one that is attached. It doesn't matter what job it is; it just gets sent with the CV to the many jobs that maybe the candidate is applying for. So cover letters are important. Also, as a hiring manager, I would also say that, and I think this is relevant, there is no need to put personal details inside. Personal details like your address, like your photo, your age, because these are not relevant. And as hiring managers, sometimes we are humans, we have our own preferences. So for example, if sets we're in the East, but if you tell me you're in Jurong, maybe I'm so sorry, but maybe I'll just put aside your CV. But that's not the point. Even though you're in Jurong, you don't have to put it there. Let me meet you. Mm-hmm. Let me see whether you are fit for the role. And then we discuss the distance. And now it's we don't need to be in office all the time anyway. So that can be overcome. Yeah. So again, absolutely no need to put your age because that is not relevant. Yeah, but put the breadth and the depth of your experience that you have. Yeah. And I think maybe one last point that I could also bring up is that okay, and this is for me personally. So in your CV, it will also be good to indicate when you've been promoted. So for example, so a lot of people just put the last designation there. But if I can see you've been in the company for 8 years, you've been promoted 3 times, that also says something. Yeah. So I think that is my couple of points which I hope will help.
Definitely, Jeremy. Those are really nuggets of wisdom there, very precious to job seekers out there. And if I were to summarize what you mentioned earlier, we're looking for 2 pages, if not just 3, nothing more than that. And you also mentioned that employers like yourself prefer the customized version of a resume, as well as a cover letter that is tailored to the job, and no need for all the personal information in your resume. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy. We really enjoy take home these points, and this is also close to our hearts because we work in E2I. We also review a lot of resumes. Yeah, thank you so much for the honor sharing. Very handy indeed. Okay, Jeremy, let's now keep you with us, all right? And then we bring Jacani with us now, and we'll move on into the Q&A segment, right? So if you have a question, all right, so my team has shared screen. All right, please go to menti.com and then the code will be 9206-2857, 2857. Okay, I'm quite sure my colleague has also put it into the chat as well. So we have some questions already. If I may, all right, just call on you to answer the questions. Perhaps, okay. Perhaps both Jer and Jeremy, you could answer this question, all right? Interesting one. What is one indicator to understand whether I am relevant or not? What is one indicator? Basically the question is, how do I know whether I'm relevant or not? Jer or Jeremy want to take on this question? Maybe Jer first?
Okay, all right, so well, basically, I think when we are in a role for a while, it's you probably would be wanting to look at how you can actually improve, right? It's always about continuous improvements as well. And if you look at some of the news that comes out, as well as tap on resources such as the Skills Future framework, there you will find some of the latest skills that they would have shared as well. And you can then see how is it translatable into the work that you're currently doing.
I think personally for me, I like to test. We'll send out your resumes and see whether anybody calls you up. That's a very good test. Jeremy, you have something to say? Did I interrupt you?
Yeah, so actually just to add on, so both your points are maybe just to add on to what Jacani said. So maybe a good indicator is that there are, whether Skills Future and all that, there are a list of courses that are relevant to your field of work. Now, if you look at those list of courses and you look at the description and you find out that actually I have no idea what these are talking about, then I think it's quite a clear indicator that maybe it's time to be a bit more proactive in terms of learning lah. So that's one thing. So another thing is that also, yes, what I was going to say is that it's if you do send out resumes, if you do send out CVs and you don't hear back, there are many reasons why this is so, and it's not, and many of the reasons is actually it's the CV. It is the CV. So hiring managers will be able to tell, and I can't give you an example offhand, but hiring managers are able to tell when a person is maybe not as relevant or up to date as he or she can be.
Thank you, Jeremy. We have one question, and I think, Jeremy, perhaps you could help us with this. It's quite an interesting one, and we get this often.
I lost my Zoom.
Do we have our participant muted, please? Thank you so much. Okay, so the question is how to avoid mentioning my age in resume. Because earlier on you mentioned that already, right? So how do we avoid just not stating age? HR can decipher my age from my graduation year and also my first job. So how do I go about this perhaps biasness to age?
So there's no easy answer to this. Biasness will always remain. But what we can do is maybe temper some of these biasness from hiring managers. You are absolutely right that actually people can just do their own sums in their heads, but what you can do is that there actually is no need to put the year in which you graduated. You know, what's relevant and what's important is what your qualifications are. Yes, and also maybe one more thing that maybe I can say is that assuming you have maybe 35 years of experience, you may not need to put all 35 years there. Because as a hiring manager also, I sometimes I don't really need to know what you did 35 years ago. That's just me being honest. So what that does also, it also removes the ability for companies and hiring managers to just from your CV do their own sums and find out how old you are. So maybe that could be helpful, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. That's in line with what E2I shares as well. Okay, so your last job, last 10 years, more relevant ones, please showcase in your resume. It's okay not to put in the age. Yeah, it is all right. Okay, so we now move on to the next question. Okay, so let me just pick this. Right, this is to Jacani. It's a tricky one, but we probably need just few liners, right, for this. Are career coaches expected to find their client jobs?
I get this a lot. Okay, so it is a two-way. It's a two-way conversation that we have. We don't guarantee jobs. We don't guarantee interviews, right? But essentially, working with us, it's important where we actually work together, have two-way communication in terms of how we can actually observe some observable gaps in the job search journey, because transition is never going to be easy, to be honest, right? Job search is never going to be easy, and therefore the 3 Ps that Sarah had shared previously. But we will not guarantee a job. We will not guarantee an interview. I think nobody guarantees that. I mean, recruiters also won't do that. But what is important here is that we are able to help you to position, see what value you are able to bring to the organization, right? Whether on paper, which is the resume, or if you're going for an interview and say you're going to meet Jeremy, right? Talk to me first, then talk to Jeremy, right? So this is how we can work together with you, so that you see how you're able to put your career story together. I think that's really our value add as well. And of course, not forgetting we can do the part where we can submit the resume, job matching part, send it to HR as a value add. I think we can do that as well. So that's really how we can work together.
Thanks very much.
If I could just add on as well. So I absolutely agree. And also, I also agree that, like I said, you all said it's a two-way thing as well. So maybe I give an example.
Sorry, Jeremy, we're not able to hear you.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes. Now
so maybe I was saying that maybe I could give an example of an interview that perhaps could have gone better. So I met a candidate that essentially was for a procurement role. So the candidate didn't have maybe the relevant experience. So she spent her whole career in finance. So but we were willing to consider her. But during the interview, when I asked questions like, why are you looking for this role, or this role specifically? So the answers were something along the lines of, I've been retrenched, so I'm just looking around for roles. And when I asked her, have you been doing anything to maybe to keep yourself relevant, to upskill? And like I said, when I asked this, I'm not looking for specific skills. I'm looking for the attitude. But unfortunately, she wasn't. So point being is that it's very, very important. It's a two-way thing as well, and interviews are important as well. So I think maybe that's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Definitely very good advice there. I think if the resume gets you the interview, the next thing you should do for yourself as a job seeker is to ace the interview, right? As what Jeremy shares, employers are looking for the attitude. All right, so as job seekers, let's all show the employers that we're enthusiastic, we're passionate about what we do. Okay, now with this, I would like to thank you very much, panelists, both Jacani and Jeremy, for coming to us during this lunchtime to share with the job seekers here all the nuggets of wisdom that you have. All right, thank you so much, and we hope to see you again. All right. Thank you. And with this, we'll hand the session back to Siddiq. Oh, Siddiq, you're muted now.
Thank you, Cass, Jeremy, and Jacani. I am sure that there are many takeaways from the sharing that we can apply to stay relevant in this disruptive economy. At this juncture, I would like to share some of the relevant resources from Skills Future, E2I, as well as Northeast CDC. Okay, let's start with my Skills Future portal. Okay, my Skills Future portal is actually a one-stop portal which contains various online resources to help us in our career planning as well as skills upgrading. For example, you can actually search for your desired courses. You can also take a free career profiling test, and you can also discover related news and contents with ebooks. Last but not least, you can also find out what are the latest industry trends. So let me elaborate a bit more on some of these resources, okay? To start off with, there are more than 20,000 courses. Yes, I'm not kidding you. There's 20,000 courses and training on offer. So to help us in narrowing down the courses that are more relevant or one that interests us, you can either do three things. First, you can browse by categories. And under these categories, there are many other subcategories, for example, areas of training. And there are a list of areas such as aerospace, food and beverage, or you could also search under training partners. All right, so that's the first one. Secondly, you can also search by keywords. Okay, as flashed on the screen, there are several keywords that you could actually click on to narrow down your search. And last, you could also click on the highlighted tabs. All right, so can you show the highlighted tabs, please? All right, thank you so much. All right. What about, yes, speaking of courses, ladies and gentlemen, do you know that Singaporeans aged 40 years and above can receive at least or up to 90% subsidy on course fees? This only means, right, that there are more savings for all of us. And best part is we can use that savings to equip ourselves with more skills and training, right? I would also like to share a bit more on a full-time training program called the SG United Skills Program and the SG United Mid-Career Pathways Program, which I believe Jeremy has shared with us a bit about this as well. I would highly recommend for all of us here who are currently job hunting or are considering to transit to a career in one of the emerging sectors to consider this program. The fees are about $500 for 6 months and $1,000 for a 12-month program, respectively. We can, however, use our Skills Future credit to offset these course fees. So all of us here who are 40 and above minimally have $1,500 of Skills Future credit. So make use of those. They also mentioned that not only will you be receiving a monthly training allowance, you will also be able to obtain industry-recognized certifications such as WSQ full qualifications, post-diploma, or professional certificates from the IHLs once you've successfully completed the program. One of my favorite sections in the portal is actually the resources section. Okay, it's simply a repository of articles, industry insights, and ebooks. Well, it's definitely good for all of us here who have time to actually go through and understand a bit more about the sector that you want to pursue. But do you also know that you can take a free career profiling assessment if you are to click on the assessment tab? Yep, shown there. It is called the RISEC profiling tool. And its purpose is to understand your personality, your strength, as well as your work values to help you identify suitable career options. So at the end of this test, right, the tool will help you to discover which careers are most suitable for you according to your unique abilities, your career interests, and your work values. Interesting, right? And the best part is it's free. So go try for it. All right, so that's all the Skills Future sharing that I have for today. So now let's look at the job side of things. Okay, for those of us here who prefer a one-on-one career consultation, you can also visit any of the 4 job hubs of the Northeast CDC listed here for your employment assistance. So you have one at Hougang, you have one at Bedok Reservoir, Punggol, you have one at Kaki Bukit, and you have 3 under project successors. So in total, you have 6 where you can actually go to. Okay. Alternatively, if you want to speak to any of the E2I's career coaches, you can do it so via appointment. Okay, so just take note, this is via appointment only, and you can do that either by calling the number 6474-0606 or make an e-appointment at eappointment.e2i.com.sg. I'll just hold on to this slide for the next half a minute so that you can take a screenshot and jot down the details, all right? Okay, next one. E2I also offers the Win the Job series that comprises of 3 workshops. Okay, these 3 workshops focuses on resume writing, interview skills, and negotiating your salary. In other words, these specialized workshops aims to provide you with new perspectives at different stages of your job search. Each workshop, however, is 4 hours long. Take note, it's 4 hours long, and you can register via the link shown on screen, or by scanning the QR code shown on screen as well. So again, I'll leave this slide for the next half a minute or so for you to take a screenshot, or you can actually start scanning the QR code so that it can lead you to the registration page. All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen, some of the relevant resources for your perusal. And with that, I've also reached the tail end of our workshop, and of those who are here who have yet to register for the final GPS webinar. Yes, I've mentioned it. It's the final GPS webinar. You may like to do so now by scanning the QR code shown on your screen now. All right, so it's next week, same time, 8th December, and it's entitled How to Transit to My Target Job. All right, again, I'll leave.
Hello, can I ask a question? If I missed the first and second session, right, is there a video recording that I can refer to?
Yes, you can actually go to the website after this, okay? You can also type your question in our chat group so that my colleague could actually answer your question also. Thank you. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, I appreciate if you can take 3 minutes of your time to give us your feedback about this session. Okay? I'll leave this slide again for the next few minutes so that all of us can take our time to actually fill up the feedback. I hope you've enjoyed this session as much as I did. Once again, thank you, Cassandra, Jeremy, and Jekani for sharing with us the useful advices. Some music to accompany us while we fill up the form. Thanks, Kosan, for that. Okay, I'll leave it up for another minute or so. All right, there you go. Thank you all again for attending this virtual workshop. We hope you have a great week ahead, and I wish you all the best in your career journey. Looking forward to seeing you again, hopefully for the next and the last session next week. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.